Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Judy, a board-certified internal medicine and lifestyle medicine physician. I practice medicine with a holistic perspective, and my goal here is to share information with you that will empower you to take control of your health and to live a long, vibrant, and prosperous life. Today, I will be sharing with you 10 valuable tips that will help you to save money at the grocery store when eating plant-based. Now, I know a lot of people say that eating healthy is expensive, eating healthy is too much money, and eating plant-based is expensive. So I'm so excited to share with you 10 tips that will help you to save money at the grocery store and keep more money in your pockets. So tip number 1 is you must plan your meals in advance. This will prevent you from going to the grocery store and impulse buying. And if you notice, the grocery store is strategically planned for the junk food and processed foods. A lot of them are right at the cash register, the candy bars. And the section that you're entering in most grocery stores is the produce section. So you should be spending most of your time in the produce section. But make sure that you plan your meals for the week, create a grocery list based on what you plan to cook for that week, and then go to the grocery store. So don't impulse shop, always have a list, and don't go to the grocery store hungry, because when you go to the grocery store hungry, you most likely will end up picking up unhealthy items and may even pick up some snacks and be snacking in the grocery store while you're shopping. All right, so tip number 2 is to buy in bulk. Now, most grocery stores have bulk section these days where you can buy nuts, beans, and whole grains in bulk. You can buy seeds. You will save so much money by buying in bulk. And if you're concerned about it going bad before you can use it, you can freeze it, or you can store it in your pantry in an airtight container, put the date on it, and keep an eye on it so that it doesn't go bad. But definitely shopping in bulk will save you a lot of money. And even if you can go to a bulk store that sells things in bulk, that is an option as well. So tip number 3 is buying whole foods instead of processed foods. The vegan processed foods are expensive. The cheese, the butter, the veggie meat, and even the yogurt can be expensive. But if you stick to whole, unprocessed, plant-based food items, it is not expensive. You could buy a box of tofu for about $2 to $4. A can of beans is like $1.50, and you can buy a bag of raw beans for like $2 depending on what store you're buying it at. So definitely buying whole foods is going to be a better option for you as far as picking items in the grocery store that's going to save you money. I mean, if you buy the processed veggie meats, let's say Beyond or Impossible, for example, any one of those items tend to be around $4 to $7. Like, that is super expensive. And you do not have to spend that much money on vegan proteins. You can buy better options that are healthier if you stick to whole food. All right. So tip number 4 is to shop in season. So wherever you live, you can look online and find out which fruits and vegetables are in season during which particular months of the year. Seasonal produce tends to be cheaper and more abundant. And you can basically plan your meals around what produce is in season. It will save you a ton of money at the grocery store, and you'll thank me for it later. Tip number 5 is to explore frozen and canned options. It does not have to be fresh, and it does not have to be organic. Eating fruits and vegetables is important, and you can try different sources of fruits and vegetables. So you can buy frozen vegetables if you like. Frozen fruit makes a good option to put in smoothies. And you can try canned beans, for example. I like to use canned beans because it's quicker, it's easier. I just rinse them and they're good to go. And as far as frozen produce, I usually buy frozen fruit for smoothies. I don't buy the frozen vegetables as much because I just prefer the fresh, but if you're short on time, frozen vegetables gets the job done just as well, and you don't have to worry about cutting it up and everything, and it's a lot quicker. So that's definitely an option to get in your fruit and vegetables and to also save a little bit of money and time. So tip number 6 is to compare prices. When you are trying to shop healthy and plant-based, you don't want to go to one grocery store and shop like once every other week or even once a week. You most likely will have to go to different grocery stores and shop a few times a week because each store will have different prices and some stores will have different things that are cheaper than others. So you definitely want to shop around at different grocery stores. And, for example, I know that there's one grocery store near me that has tomatoes for a very good price. So I always make sure that I buy my tomatoes there and my kale there. And there's another grocery store that I know has a good price on organic strawberries and blueberries. So just make sure that you shop around, and whatever that area that you live in, make sure that you check out different grocery stores. And also another tip is to check out the ethnic grocery stores and discount markets. In many cities in the US that have like ethnic markets, they call them maybe Hispanic grocery store or Asian grocery store. The produce there tends to be really cheap and they have a huge selection. So definitely check out those options as well. Okay, so tip number 7 is to use coupons and sales. Now, you can get coupons mailed in the mail with the newspaper, depending on where you live. I know in my area, they just send coupons in my mail like every week. I get like a stack of paper in my mailbox. And then also at the grocery store, they tend to give you coupons every time you shop. So I know there's grocery store near me that if I shop, every time I shop, they'll give me coupons. So let's say maybe like $5 off of your next $20 order, or buy one, get one free on a particular item. So don't sleep on those coupons. Make sure you look at those coupons that the grocery store gives you and check online, the newspaper, check your mailbox, and make sure that you are taking advantage of those coupons. I know sometimes the coupons that come in the mail can seem like a lot of paper. You're like, why are they sending me this? But you can find some good deals there. Okay, so tip number 8 is gardening. And gardening is not just a money saver, but it also has therapeutic benefits for your emotional health and your mood. Gardening is so beneficial. And then it's also healthier to grow your own vegetables because most likely you know what's going to be in the soil. You're probably going to make it more organic and not be using a whole lot of pesticide. But if you can, look into starting a small garden. You can start with pots. It doesn't have to be a big garden, but you can just start with pots and buy seedlings from your local store. And things that are easier to start with will be herbs. So basil, rosemary, thyme, cilantro are pretty easy. And then if you want to venture into vegetables, tomatoes and peppers, I know in my area are pretty popular and easy to grow. So depending on the climate where you live, just check and see what produce grows locally, and you can kind of use that to plan and decide to grow your own produce. So gardening, highly recommend. It's so good, not just for your wallet, but also for your health, the food that you're eating, and also to give you, it's kind of like a project, right? To see if you can grow the plant without killing it. Because I know sometimes I've tried to grow things and the plant has died. So it's kind of like a project to see how well you can grow things. So that's exciting. Gardening, definitely want to get into that. I remember one time I purchased some seedlings from Home Depot or Lowe's. I purchased tomatoes and yellow pepper and something else. I think it was rosemary. And I was like, yes, I'm going to grow these and it's going to be awesome. Took them home, put them on my deck, thinking that, okay, they're getting sunlight, they're outside, they'll be getting rain, they'll be good to go. The next thing that I know, when I finally decided to check on them, maybe it was like a week or two later, maybe it was longer, I'm not sure. They were dry. Like the tomato plant had dried off. The plants were like crispy and falling off. And I was like, ooh, was I supposed to water these? So now that I know, the next time that I do buy, I will make sure that I water them and check on them. But don't be like me. Go on YouTube, look up a video and make sure that your plants do not dry out and burn in the sun. Okay, so moving on to tip number 9. And this is cooking at home. Oh my goodness, cooking at home will save you so much money. When you go out to eat, the cost is so much more than eating out at home. And not only that, the food when you eat out at restaurants typically is more unhealthy. It's more likely to have more oils in it, more salt, sugar, and you just don't know what they're putting in the food. So it's just always better to eat at home as much as possible. Now, I know that you're not going to always eat at home, and I eat out sometimes too, but definitely try to limit it to maybe say no more than one meal a week or something like that. And also what you can do is prepare your own nut milks and your own nut butters at home. So you can make peanut butter. I actually did it one time. I bought roasted peanuts and mixed them in my Vitamix, but you could probably use a NutriBullet or something like that. I had to put a little bit of oil in it to make it mix a bit, and that's it. Didn't put any sugar or sweetener in it. and it tastes a lot fresher than buying it at the store, and it was a little bit cheaper as well. You can also do that with nut milk. You can make your own almond milk, for example. You just buy the nuts, you soak them overnight, and then you blend them, and you can keep the fiber, the nut pieces after it's blended, and you can use that for something else, put that in your smoothies or whatnot. But that's also another way to save a little bit of money by making your own nut milks as well as your own nut butter. So cooking at home, making things at home will save you a lot of money, and it's also much better for your health. And I also feel so good when I cook at home and make things myself. I just feel like food is medicine. Like, I really, really believe that. And it just gives me so much joy to prepare food, to make things from scratch, that I know what is in the ingredients. I know that it's clean ingredients. I know that it's not processed. I don't use added sugars. And it just gives me such a good feeling knowing exactly what I'm eating and knowing that I made it. So try eating at home more and limiting how often you eat out. Okay, so tip number 10, which is along the lines of cooking at home, is minimizing waste. So when you're cooking, you can cook in bulk, cook in batches, and freeze the leftovers. Beans cook really well, and you can freeze those. They freeze really well. Rice, I've frozen rice before. I've frozen pasta before. Just about everything that you would make, you can usually freeze it. And it's so nice, like when you come home, especially after you've gone away for a trip, and you come home and there's food in your freezer, you just take it out and defrost it, and you don't have to cook. So minimizing waste, freezing the leftovers, and really cooking in batches so that you have extra food to freeze is very beneficial, and it will save you a lot of money in the long run, and it'll also save you time. Rather than cooking small servings, multiple times a week, you can cook one pot of beans, freeze half of it or whatever amount you don't think that you would use in a few days, and then later in a couple of weeks, when you come back and you're like, I want to eat that lentil stew today, you just pull it out the freezer and good to go. So those are my 10 tips to save you money when you are grocery shopping, 10 tips to shop plant-based on a budget. Make sure you comment below and let me know your thoughts, and make sure that you subscribe and like this video. Thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.